This is a sketch of the Stiles Prairie that we visited earlier and checked out the locations. And you'll recall we had the county road on the south side. We had a last year's bean field with bean residue on the east side, cornfield with stalk residue on the north, and a bean field with bean residue on the west. And then I've outlined approximately the wetter areas of the prairie here that we'll have to deal with. And then you may recall there's a couple of cottonwoods that are points of concern. Greg, maybe just kind of walk us through the burn plan so we don't forget anything, and we'll...
I've got the legal description done already, the date of the name of the prairie, the landowner, the address, legal description, who to contact in case of escape, Waterloo Fire Department, Blackhawk County Sheriff, and their phone numbers. Neighbors, we need to continue to flesh out the neighbors to contact. We can get that probably from the landowner.
Right, yeah, both of these areas are leased, so we may want to inform the people who are living in this house over here that we're burning, if particularly we have a easterly component to the wind.
We're down to description of the burn area, woody plant species. I think this would be both in terms of possible control issues, but also burn objectives, if there's any particular woody species we're trying to control with the fire.
Right, yeah, and I think there's a few red cedars that we want to keep from growing. He's got some old red cedars in here that we're not worrying about, but there may be some young ones that we want to control.
The next was herbaceous species. I guess it's pretty much native prairie would cover it.
Yeah, I think Dave mentioned mostly native wet prairie because it's mostly a, what is it? Clyde clay loam complex.
Clyde Floyd, I think it is.
Right.
So sedges, there's we saw cordgrass.
Yeah, wet prairie species.
Pretty heavy fuel in some areas.
We are going to have to rake around those two cottonwoods, and also that there's a down cottonwood there too that we want to make sure we
remember that when we get to the hazard section.
Right.
Fuel load, fine fuels, grasses and forbs. How many tons per acre do you think we have?
Well, it really varies on the site. In the wetter areas, I'm sure there's over 3 tons per acre.
Okay.
And on the upland areas, I would say between 2 to 3 tons.
Okay. Predominant fuel height. It's pretty much compacted from the snow.
Yeah, the winter snow is really compacted, other than the giant
A
ragweed.
few stems, but they're, I'd say, from 1.5 to 3 feet maybe would cover it,
yeah.
Catch most of it. Soil types, you said Clyde Floyd.
I think it's primarily Clyde with some Floyd.
Well, the other things are percent slope, aspect, and the percent area of each.
Well, we got a general trend with a slight south-facing aspect starting here. There's a slight, maybe like a 1% slope coming down.
It's a south aspect, and that's probably a good 50% of the area. Objectives and timing of the burn, we have some things we can rank here. Reduce deciduous trees, shrubs, not really. Increase warm season grasses. Reduce noxious perennial weeds. Distribute grazing. Reduce cedar trees, that was one, I guess. Reduce cool season grass, that's certainly an issue. Improve wildlife habitat. Increase forbs diversity.
Want to increase forb diversity. I think from that standpoint it's more of an ecological burn to increase the native prairie, particularly the forbs.
Specified conditions for the day of the burn. Air temperature between 40 and 70 degrees, is that?
Yeah, I guess I would prefer to be between 60 and 70.
Okay. There's a place for preferred here,
Yeah.
so 60, 70. Relative humidity, what would you like that to be? Between 30 and 60%.
I'd say between 30 and 40 would be preferred. Okay, and then when we walked through the bean field on both sides and the cornfield, we were particularly concerned about the high amount of corn stalks. No, Dave, you commented about that, and Greg commented about the steeper slope back there, so we certainly don't want it to get into there. So we're going to disc here. How wide is our disc, Dave?
Well, our disc is 8 foot, and we've got a very small disc, but we'll make at least 2 passes, close to a 20 foot disking zone.
Okay, so that'll be discs, and then we'll probably come down along here the same way, correct?
Right, and even though the bean residue isn't as dense and as thick as the corn residue, a fire can certainly go across that bean residue and move in a hurry. So, don't let that be deceiving you as far as looking like, there's not enough fuel there, because it can burn across a bean field.
You recall up here, we've got this corner where the slough extends on up in that direction, and we really can't disc in there because there's some woody vegetation and fences and this sort of thing there. So Bruce Stiles, the owner's been clearing a fire lane there, and I think we should encourage him to have a 10 or 12 foot line there. And I think he's got part of it already done. Want to make sure we're raked out to the roadside, because once in a while one slips by you.
We don't want the fire to go down the roadside
Want to
ditch.
go down the roadside
ditch.
Our preferred wind direction with good disked fire breaks here, preferred wind direction would be something with a southerly component to keep the smoke off the road. But this is a fairly low traveled road, so I think if we put traffic control people on there, we could possibly even burn with wind that puts some smoke across the road, because I think it's important that we get this burned early before some of the prairie species start growing, and we don't want to do damage to those. So I think I'm going to sketch the burn plan with a northwest wind, which is what we've been having mostly as the fronts come through. After the fronts come through, we've got a northwest wind, which would put the wind coming out of this direction, which it means then that we'll be igniting down in the southeast corner. And you recall there's quite a component of giant ragweed stalks there. And once we get those things burning, the radiant heat's pretty intense on those. And we may want to even knock some of those down a little bit to reduce the heat. So then I think the direction we want to proceed, one crew go this way, and then another crew just ignite right in the ditch. And basically, this crew on the road is going to proceed somewhat slower than the crew proceeding along the north side. We want to arrive at this corner and this corner at about the same time. We can put a pumper truck up here, and we can put a pumper truck here. That way this pumper truck can, once this crew reaches this point, this pumper truck can move with that crew, and they can even come around and down this side as well.
What size of crews do we need for each of the ignition crews?
Well, 4 to 6 people on each one of these, at least 4. Igniter and someone else with a backpack pump right there, and then the truck on this side. This crew can definitely get by with 4, because there's not going to be as much control problems here.
Each pumper truck will have a radio.
Each pumper truck will have a radio.
Each person on the road directing traffic will have radio contact.
Right.
And then each
crew chief will
crew
have
chief of each burn ignition crew will
and
have
fire
a radio.
boss.
Okay.
Maybe about the time we reach this point and we're up here and starting here with the northwest going to be pushing it that way, we could do some strip firing in here.
Okay, because that way it'll allow wildlife to an escape route. Is this within the city limits still, or is
This is within the city limits,
Okay,
and
so-
Bruce Stiles had to get a permit from the Waterloo Fire Department.
So it does require a burning permit.
It does require a burning permit, yes. So we ignite here, so the fire is going to be, we're going to have a backfire sort of burning at an angle this way as this group goes up this way. So we're going to be backing as we're igniting along here, we're going to have a backfire which will get increasingly wider. Then when this crew turns the corner here and this crew turns the corner here, then we're going to be having a flanking fire ignited by both of those, which is going to burn a little bit back this way if it's not already blackened, and back this way with the wind. If we do get a southeasterly wind, which is the next most common one here, then we'd have the wind coming in here and we'll be igniting at this particular point. Waterloo Fire Department, if we have to call them, will access off Highway 63, which is 1 mile or less than a mile to the east, and come into the Stiles residence drive up here to deal with this, and this is where we're most likely going to encounter a problem. We'll probably ignite at noon or 1 o'clock, depending a little bit upon what the weather forecast is for that particular day, but typically we get our strongest winds, lowest humidity mid-afternoon, so we want to be dealing with our worst conditions at the start in terms of flammability is concerned, so that we can be prepared to deal that from the outset, so that we're dealing with those to start with. This is going to probably take us at least 2.5 hours to do this burn, maybe even a little longer, depending how rapidly we're able to proceed. So we don't want to move into a situation where we get higher winds as we proceed. Prefer to have the winds going down a little bit as we proceed with the later afternoon.